A wonderful morning to you all. You're welcome once again to another session of our digital series. My name is Princess Arena Indom, and I'm the coordinator for American Kana at Boba at Mobile Web Ghana. American Spaces provides access to current and reliable information about the United States through its book collections, internet access, events, and activities for everyone. Today, we are looking at a very important discussion on the topic, online impersonation. Facilitating this discussion is Dr. Albert Enchibwasiako, who is the Acting Director of Cybersecurity Authority, Ghana. Dr. Enchibwasiako is a cybercrime expert with the Council of Europe and the founder of eCrime Bureau, the first cybersecurity and digital forensics firm. He currently serves on the Independent Advisory Committee of the Global Internet Forum to Counter Terrorism. He is also a bureau member of the Cybercrime Conversion Committee and is the Government of Ghana's representative on ECOWAS Regional Technical Committee on Cybersecurity. He is a member of the governing boards of the Cybersecurity Authority and the National Information Technology Agency. Also joining Dr. Enchibwasiako to facilitate this discussion is Mr. Isaac Socrates-Mensah, who is a Deputy Manager with the National Computer Emergency Response Team Unit of the Cybersecurity Authority, Ghana. During the session, please type all your comments or questions in the comments box below and they will be addressed. Thank you for staying with us again. And now I'll hand it over to Dr. Enchibwasiako. Good morning, sir.
Hello. A pleasant morning to all of you. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can be heard, sir.
Great. Thank you for the introduction, Madam. It's a privilege joining you for this conversation. I'm not going to spend more than 5 minutes. The real person coming to do the job is the gentleman you mentioned, Sir Isaac, who is a colleague and has been a member of the cybersecurity establishment since we established this about 5 years ago. And as you rightly mentioned, he works within the National Computer Emergency Response Team within the Cybersecurity Authority. And that is a division that handles the subject matter that you want a presentation on, which is the online impersonation. But I decided to join you for 5 minutes for a reason. At the CSA, we believe in champions. What do I mean by champions? The mere fact that your body wrote to us, seeking expertise by way of facilitation to build knowledge, understanding about online impersonation, I felt it was something great that a body like yours, an association which seeks to empower your members in a number of areas, is seeking to also empower your members to deal with online impersonation. I felt that was great, and I believe that that singular act meets what I term the champions, people who want to take initiative by themselves to get things done. So I wanted to come and congratulate you for that kind of thinking, that kind of tenacity and approach of getting things done. And I want to wish you well and continue in that regard. But also I want to comment on your topic, Living in the Digital World program series. I think it's a brilliant program, especially if you look at the world we live now. Everything is digital. You look at the internet penetration, you look at connectivity, both in the private sector, public sector. And I believe Sir Isaac will tell you, Ghana is ranked among the topmost countries, possibly number 3 or something, with active social media presence on the internet. So yes, our citizens are actively engaged in social media, and that is where the threat of online impersonation also emanates from. If we do not address this issue, certainly it will continue to undermine the trust that is an essential requirement for us to connect and engage digitally. I believe Sir Isaac will also share more light with you on some of the mechanisms that we put in place to address these challenges, including a point of contact for your members and the public at large to report suspected incident of online impersonation. But at the end of the day, I think that as users of internet and digital devices, ultimately, we owe responsibility to ourselves to live a responsible digital lives. But to live a responsible digital life implicate that you need the knowledge, you need understanding, you need to be able to detect the tricks, the social engineering tricks that are being used, the schemes that the criminal actors are using to defraud people by way of impersonation. And I believe that is what my colleague will be able to elaborate on and give some, contribute in some way of empowering your members to be able to deal with these issues. But I believe once you've also achieved this level of knowledge and others, it is my hope that you also become ambassadors to spread the good news to help ensure that we protect our citizens as they continue to use digital services. I want to thank you once again for reaching out to the Cybersecurity Authority and to encourage you to stay on that course of reaching out to institutions, bodies, individuals who can impact on your members. God bless you and have a fruitful session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Albert Inchibosiaku. And so this program, the Digital World Series program, is brought to you by the U.S. Embassy Ghana through the American Kana Abuba. And so now I'll hand it over to Mr. Isaac Mensah to take us through the presentation.
All right, thank you very much. I hope you can hear me loud and clear.
Yes, you can be here.
Okay, so like my Director General mentioned, impersonation has become quite a topical issue that needs to be discussed. In my presentation, I would be taking you through...
Hello, Mr. Mensah, please can you expand the screen?
Sure.
Thank you.
Sorry. Yes, so the focus of this presentation is going to highlight mainly on what impersonation is or what online impersonation is. What are its implications? Should you become a victim? What are the implications that you're likely to suffer? How is it done? The modus operandi of online impersonation. Where, on which platforms are we experiencing online impersonation? Who are the victims and who are the perpetrators? The criminals doing this particular kind of crime. Who are they? We'll be discussing that also. And then when is it really done? And then we'll also be looking at why would someone be involved in impersonation. So we are looking at the reasoning behind or the motivation why someone would be involved in online impersonation, and also how to prevent being a victim of online presentation or impersonation, or how, when you become a victim, where do you go to or what do you do? We'll also be looking at that. Before we go into the substance of this presentation or the topic itself, it is very important for us to highlight globally what is happening in terms of internet adoption. We've seen very incremental growth with respect to internet adoption worldwide. We can say COVID was also a major factor, contributing factor to this particular number. So worldwide, in terms of total population, we are about 7.9 billion. And out of this number, 57%, which means half of the world is now connected to the internet. Now, if we look at the unique mobile users, we have about 5.3 billion devices connected to the internet, which is about 67.1%. Now, you may ask, why is it that we have more users of devices on the internet than those connected to the internet or the people connected to internet? Now, you realize that about one person might have about 2 or 3 devices. All of them he or she uses to connect to the internet. So that contributes to this particular number. Now, the actual number in terms of the internet users is about 4.9 billion people connected to the internet, which is 62.5 people are actually connected to the internet. Now, in terms of, in that respect, social media is something that has become a new, the new normal now. So active social media presence, we have about 58.4 of the entire world population. So we have also over half of the world's population on the various social media platforms. Now, what is the situation when it comes to Ghana? Ghana is also connected. Our total population is around 32.06 million. Now, when we take internet users, we have about 16.99 million people connected to the internet. So Ghana, about more than half of Ghana's population is also connected to the internet. When you look at our social media connections also, we have about 27.4% of our entire population connected also to the internet. Now, when you look at our internet penetration, you might say it's quite little, but the little that we have, we are doing quite a lot also with respect to social media. Now, when you take statistics globally, Ghana is third when you talk about time spent using on social media. So we spend quite a lot of time. So the time average is around 3.58. So Ghana is third globally with respect to our internet usage or the time that we spend. Now, if this is for a good cause or we are making good things out of that, then that's good. But if we are using our productive time on social media, then that is a good something for concern that we need to also be discussing. So these are the perspectives. When you come to the social media platforms that we normally use with respect to Ghana, we know that WhatsApp is the most used social media platform, followed by Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and all the others also follow. So these are the most used social media platforms that Ghana is connected to, or users of the internet or social media are using when you talk about Ghana. Now, online impersonation, what really is this? Okay, so this is a very short description of what's online impersonation. It refers to the situation in which electronic communication or internet access is used to assume the identity of someone else. So it's all about someone using the identity of another person and saying, I am this person. Impersonation and identity theft are someone may ask that, how different is impersonation from identity theft? Now, they are very closely related. On some books or some sites, they normally even put them together or use them interchangeably. However, online impersonation is more, identity theft is more serious or more criminal than online impersonation, in that online impersonation, someone might just assume your identity and might not use it specifically for criminal purposes. As soon as it is used for criminal purposes, it becomes an identity theft issue, and that is criminal and punishable by law. So those are the distinguishing factors. Online impersonation is all about just assuming the identity of someone and pretending to be that person online. These are other definitions when it comes to online. So it is a human-based social engineering technique. So before someone takes over your account or impersonates you, it's normally done through social engineering. So they use various ways to convince people to gain certain information about those people in order to impersonate them in various places. So there are several ways in which one can be impersonated. So as soon as you assume the identity and use it for financial gain or use it for criminal purposes, it becomes identity theft. Now, why do we even need to discuss this topic? Now, when you look at statistics, reports made to the Cybersecurity Authority, online impersonation features quite in there. Now, when you look at the trend here, you realize that online impersonation is the fourth most reported incident that in the first half of 2022. The top 10 incidents, it is the fourth most reported incident to the Cybersecurity Authority. So it is very important for us to discuss it because we are still seeing more and more incidents coming in. And as I speak now, there might even be more coming in. That shows that it is a trend that is going up and needs to be discussed. Now, when we are talking about the targets or who are the potential targets for online impersonation, if someone wants to do online impersonation, who are the people that he or she would be looking at to impersonate? Now, we are talking about individuals, any person who uses the internet. So for your information, once you are connected to the internet or you have an online identity, you are a potential target for online impersonation. Once you have an online identity, you have your name, a picture of yours, or anything that can be connected to you, you're a potential victim or you're a potential target for online impersonation. Now, businesses have also become targets for online impersonation, especially in the COVID time. We had a lot of companies being impersonated online. Now, it's not only through social media, it's also even through websites. We have people creating websites in the name of other institutions and using them for fraudulent purposes. So businesses, especially in the COVID time, as I was saying, were targets for online impersonation. Banks have been targets for online impersonation. There are various private institutions that have been. So in COVID time like this, we had reports of institutions that claim to supply COVID supplies in terms of the vaccines and the PPEs and all that. And they were impersonating legitimate companies. And governments and other stakeholders went into contracts with these people, and then they were defrauded. So businesses have become very targets for online impersonation. Brands, we have various brands that are there pushing various agendas. And these brands have also been impersonated, especially on social media, where they, in the long run, are used to defraud unsuspecting victims. Government agencies have also been targets of impersonation, especially members of parliament and government appointees. Now, heads of institutions have become targets. Now, when you come to the Cybersecurity Authority, for instance, we take down about averagely around 170 to 200 impersonated sites in a week. And these are to just a few government individuals that we are monitoring. Now, government on social media, something like Facebook, and you type one MP, you realize that there are several profiles that come in the name of this MP. Most of them now might be impersonating that particular MP. And it has been a trend going on for several months and years now, because it's very easy. Now, they've even employed bots to create profiles, also manage on the various social media platforms. So it has become something that is very easy to do and can be done, can be managed also easily to post and also to defraud victims. Now, how is it even done? What happens is that when it becomes a targeted online impersonation, these criminals try to social engineer victims in order to get certain details. So when it is an organization, maybe you work with a certain organization, they get organization details, where you work at, in order to impersonate you. So in that case, they will be posting things as though you were the one posting them. So they become very convincing to potential or people who know you on social media. Now, they also try to mimic your professional details. So your work, what do you do, and all that are also things that they try to collect from their potential victims. Contacts and connections, who are the people that you are connected with. So in terms of businesses like this, once they are able to social engineer you to get the various people that you do business with, once they impersonate your account, what they do is that they try to target the business partners that you have or the people that you interact with, because they are going to them as though they were you. And then they try to convince or defraud them. So we have something called business email compromise. Now, when they are able to get certain information, maybe email details, they are able to mimic your email to impersonate you and then send emails of maybe transactions or certain details that they have acquired from you to your partners. And then it ends up in being a serious fraudulent issue. Several of them have been reported, not only in Ghana, but worldwide, where I hope you heard about this popular person called Hush Puppy. He was heavily involved in something like this, business email compromise. So they mimic organizational emails and conduct transactions on their behalf. Now, personal details. So we post quite a lot of things. Now, these people are able to mimic how we even post things online, the nature in which we post our likes, our favorites, the things that we like to post online. They mimic it and also do same to convince people around that they are the same person as you doing this. Now, what are some of the modus operandi? So I've mentioned one, which is social engineering. Okay, so they social engineer people in order to get their details and then impersonate them. Now, what they also do is that they also go on social networking sites and then they pick pictures, or they pick social networking sites, go on to various profiles or the person they want to impersonate, pick the pictures of those people. And what the trend now is that as soon as they create that particular profile or the impersonating profile, whatever you post on your legitimate profile, they in turn also post it on theirs for it to look as though it is legitimate. So they pick all the things. When you post a picture, they do same. When you post an article, they do same. So they mimic almost everything that you do to convince users that they are who they say really are. Again, one thing they also do is that they also try to get into our emails or use what we force. So they try to guess the passwords to our various social media platforms or accounts, and they mimic those ones also. And they post. What they do is that once they are able to, or they are successful in creating these profiles or impersonating profiles, they start to post. In the case of government appointees that have been impersonated, they post job recruitment opportunities, they post investment stuff. Now bring 500 CDs. In the next week, I'm going to give you 1,000. And they normally use them as people sharing testimonies. So they mimic, let's say, a very public figure within the space. And then what they do is that they would let that public figure endorse that kind of investment for people to also go. And then at the end of the day, it becomes a fraudulent scheme. What are some of the implications with respect to online impersonation? So if you become a victim of online impersonation, what happens? One big thing is reputational damage in terms of businesses and also even individuals, reputational damage, because these people mimic your identity, okay, and then go on to others and then go and defraud them. Now it brings trust issues, okay? So your reputation one way or the other, be it a business, be it a government, be it an individual, your reputation now comes on the line, because the people would not trust dealing with you in terms of their interactions with you. Financial losses, business email compromise, for instance. These people mimic the emails and send to business partners. These emails normally contain bank account details through which some transactions are supposed to be made. Now, when they are able to successfully do this, these monies or transactions are sent to wrong accounts because the account that sent the account details was an impersonated account, or was impersonated, or was a fake account. So financial losses are heavily involved. Again, emotional distress. Now, people who are victims of online impersonation, one way or the other, are psychologically affected in so many ways, because coming back from some of these things, reputational damage, for instance, is quite an emotional journey that one has to go through, especially with individuals. Now, what should you do once you become a victim, or what should you do to prevent being a victim of online impersonation? Now, most of us have more friends online than we have in real life. When you go into your various social media accounts, you realize that you have about 5,000 friends. the case might be that you only know about 500 of those people. The rest, you hardly know them. So the first thing is that do not accept friend requests from strangers, people that you don't know in real life, because they might be people who are saying they are who they say they are, but actually are not the actual people, right? So do not accept friend requests from strangers, people that you do not know. So these attackers frequently send friend requests to get user information or to interact with you in order to get social engineering, to get some personal information of yours, so that you become the next victim in terms of online impersonation. Once you become a victim of online impersonation, or you get a report that someone is impersonating you online, it is very necessary for you to, if possible, issue a disclaimer, okay, that you are not that person, or possibly contact the people that are connected to you on the platform on which you are being impersonated, for them to know that should they receive any message from this kind of profile, they should know that it is not you. Because what happens is that once they impersonate you, they go into your personal contacts, and because they have taken upon they've taken over your identity, they go to your personal contacts, people that are close with you, and try to defraud them as though you were the person. So some of them go to them and send your contacts distressing messages as though you need urgent help. Once you send, then they send monies or other things to them. Then they get to realize that it wasn't you they sent those things to. So once you become, or you notice that you are being impersonated online, it is very important to notify your contacts on that particular platform. Now, the next thing is that once you get to know, or you get to see the profile, take screenshots. This is the case where once once you report, and then the case should travel into a court proceeding, or should enter the court. Some of these screenshots are things that we could use as evidences for that particular activity. So it is very important that you capture screenshots. If there are chats of those people chatting with other people within your contacts, you also gather all those ones and ensure that you keep them well, so that should the case go or travel into the courtroom, you might be able to prove it, that this actually happened. Now, another thing is that try as much as possible not to interact with this particular person, because that is also another way of getting information from you. Now, this is all social engineering. So you try to interact with them, and then through the interactions, they are able to get certain vital information from you to scam other people. Another thing is that once you are impersonated on one platform, say Facebook, or you are impersonated through email, and you have other legit accounts on other platforms, it is very important for you to check the other platforms if same is not happening there, so that you can be in control and have detailed information as to the next steps to take. Because it is very likely that if you are impersonated on one platform, the same people might go on other platforms on which you are on to impersonate you. Now, the next thing is that you should also remain vigilant whilst on the internet and on social media. We share too much when we are on social media. We share so much that these criminals, just not even getting into contact with us, but sitting in the comfort of their rooms, are able to know exactly who we are and everything about us, because everything about us is on social media or is on the internet. So they are able to create profiles and are able to, it makes their work very easy, because they know where you work, they know what you do, where you live. All the information of yours is out there. So it becomes very easy for them to impersonate you online. Now, the last thing is when you realize you become a victim, it is very important to report. Now, there are two forms of reporting. The first one is reporting to the platform on which you are being impersonated. So say social media, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, all social media platforms. Once you realize that you are being impersonated, there's a reporting feature on those platforms. You can make the report to them. The next alternative is reporting through the Director General mentioned this. through the points of contact. Now, the Minister for Communications and Digitalization in 2018 launched what we call the Cybercrime, Cybersecurity Incident Reporting Points of Contact. Now, it is made up of 6 main channels through which you can report incidents to the Cybersecurity Authority. So once you notice that you have become a victim of online impersonation, you report to the social media platform, and you can also report to the Cybersecurity Authority for the necessary measures to be taken. So these are the various points of contact. So through email, report at cybersecurity@csa.gov.gh. A WhatsApp platform is also available. So on this WhatsApp platform, you can share your screenshots and other evidences also to us on 050-160-3111. We have a call feature. Just call 292 or SMS 292, and you can reach the Cybersecurity Authority. There's also an online form. When you go to our website, csa.gov.gh/report, you will get an online form for you to fill and report that particular incident. There's also a mobile app, CSA Ghana, on both Android and also iOS that you can download to report incidents to the Cybersecurity Authority. On that note, I'll bring my presentation to an end and I'm open for questions, comments, and anything that you'd want to discuss. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mensah, for a very insightful education on online impersonation. And I trust that our viewers watching are also okay with what has been shared. And if you have questions, it's now time to answer them. So kindly start sending your questions in the comments box, and they will be addressed. And so I see our viewers sending in their remarks here. Thank you all for joining today's discussion. Okay. So Mr. Mensah, as we wait for questions from our viewers, the first question I would want to find out is that when it comes to online impersonation, is anyone a victim? Do you look at people who are frequent users of social media, or just anyone can be a victim?
Yes, so like I mentioned earlier, once you are connected to the internet and you have an online identity, you are a potential victim to online impersonation, be it a child, be it an adult, be it a business, be it a brand. Even government institutions are being impersonated on social media. You have, for instance, when it gets to the recruitment on various our immigration and armed forces and police and all that, some of these institutions are mostly impersonated online, and then these recruitment stuff are posted on there for people to for people to interact with them, and they end up being defrauded. So yes, there are official pages of the various institutions. However, criminals create impersonating profiles and post various things to look as though they are legit. So everybody, anyone who has an online identity is a potential victim to impersonation.
Thank you for the answer. And so in your presentation, you highlighted some good steps or procedures that one can take when he or she realizes his or her account has been impersonated. And so with, sometimes on our social media platforms, when you encounter any form of threat or impersonation, there's an option for you to report their account. And so on that part, that also helped the victim, yeah.
Yes, it does, because these social media platforms, in as much as they are interested in having a lot of people using their platforms, they are also interested in the integrity of their platforms. So once reports are made, you go through the processes or what is expected of you as a reporter. Yes, they take action, but if they don't, another step is reporting to the Cybersecurity Authority for the necessary steps to be taken, because we work hand in hand with them. Yes.
Thank you for the answer. And so to our viewers, we are still waiting for your questions, and Mr. Mensah is always welcome to answer them. Okay. And so, Mr. Mensah, when it comes to online impersonation in Ghana, would you say that the statistics very high as compared to other countries? Hello, Mr. Mensah.
Hello, yeah, sorry. So with respect to other countries, I would not be able to tell what is happening there, but I know it is a growing threat because the FBI reported recently that impersonation cost internet users several billions of dollars. So yes, it is a global issue, okay, but in Ghana also it is quite a serious issue because like I showed in my presentation, it is the fourth most reported incident when through the points of contact that we received over the first quarter of 2022. So yes, the stats are quite high with respect to online impersonation, and it also feeds into online fraud because once the profile is impersonated, the next thing is that they use it to commit fraudulent activities.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for the answer. So I don't know if this next question would have an answer, or it's even appropriate, but do antivirus help in clearing any form of online impersonation?
I would say, online impersonation has various modus, okay? So yes, antivirus can help to some extent. However, in terms of social media, social engineering, antivirus can't do anything to help. But in terms of the hacking of your profile, okay, yes, antiviruses play a huge role in there because before your accounts are hacked, they get through your devices, and then the antivirus serves as a barrier through which that prevents these suspects from getting into your device or your account. Yes. So yes, the antivirus plays a role. However, the trend shows that the social engineering is the most used modus operandi in terms of impersonation. You understand? So in terms of the way to prevent it, one way is what we are doing now is to create awareness for people to be aware that there's this kind of threat, how it is done, so that they're able to arm themselves and prevent being victims of it. So yes, antivirus play a role to some extent.
Okay, thank you for the answer. So we are still waiting for your questions. And so, Mr. Mensah, when it comes to our mobile devices, especially for WhatsApp, would you say that the two-way verification process is a very secured way of keeping your devices from online impersonation?
Yes, it is a very good way. Okay, it's a step in the right direction in terms of the two-step verification. However, what is happening is that because we are not aware of the modus, the criminals are still able to get or have their way, even though you've enabled two-factor authentication in the way that they use social engineering again, because the two-step verification, this is how it works. Once someone tries to get into your account, there is the two-step verification ensures that a code is sent to you, your personal number, so that since the number belongs to you, you can verify that it is actually me by entering that code. You understand? However, what the criminals do is that they are able to social engineer their victims. One way is that they tell you, oh, you are on a platform or you're on a WhatsApp page group with me. So this is where they are able to, they gather information regarding us, and they are able to tell some of the platforms on which we are on. Okay. So, oh, you're on a old school WhatsApp group with me. I am the admin of that particular group. They'll tell you we are updating the group status, or we are doing an update on the group. So there's a code that has been shared with you. Could you kindly mention the code for me? That is a social link. So they lie to you in order to get the code from you. You understand? So yes, the two-step verification works. However, they use social engineering once again to get the code that is supposed to act as a security barrier from us.
Thank you for your answer, Mr. Mensah. And so with the mobile devices, which is a very common device that people use and easily have access to. So when it comes to staying safe with our devices online and all that, what would you say about contacts that send you messages on WhatsApp or on Instagram that you do not know about? Is it okay to go ahead and respond, or in order for you to be secure, can you say that you should wait for the person to mention your name, or you check if the person is a similar group to you before you respond, or you could just go ahead?
Okay. In terms of responses for messages that that come to us through social media, what happens is that these criminals also do their homework. So when you are looking out for specific information about yourself, for them to tell you, to show that they know you before you get to them, they might have done their homework by, especially if you are someone who shares quite a lot on the internet, they are able to get quite a lot of information and might be able to answer any question that comes up or that you ask them regarding yourself, because you've already made it available on the internet. Okay. But the thing is that you can choose to ignore some of these messages. Sometimes you might not even know the person interacting with you. So once you can start the interaction, all right. But once you realize that the interaction is getting to places that you are not comfortable with, it's asking for too much information, you can decide to block the contact, or you can just decide to ignore that person. You understand? You have that option because the account belongs to you. You understand? So yes, you can have initial interaction just to get to know what the person is all about. You understand? However, when you realize that the person is zoning into places that you're not comfortable with, or engaging in conversations that you're not comfortable with, you can just choose to ignore or block the person.
Thank you, Mr. Mensah. And so let's look at children or teenagers who have access to mobile devices, especially for parents who are online watching this program. And so in an instance where a child or a teenager is impersonated on his or her device, and now can the parents take the next step in reporting, like you said in your earlier presentation? And what will be the best way of the parents now taking the step in helping this child?
Yes, I'm very happy you brought the issue of children in this conversation, because when you look at in terms of victims, okay, or users of the internet, children are regarded as the most vulnerable, because they are exposed to quite a lot on the internet and they do not know how to go about it in terms of decision making. Now, it is very important as parents that we monitor the online activities of children. Now, this is the trend that is happening now, is that you have parents buying these devices that have access to the internet for their children, enable them with internet access, and then leave the children out there alone. And it becomes quite alarming, because these children are interacting with people that they do not know, people they've never met before, and these people are grooming children to become things that they want them to be. So you realize that your child might be exhibiting attitudes or habits that you around you can't see anybody who has that, but the child has it. Then you just monitor the online activities of that particular child. Once a parent notices that the child is interacting with people in terms of conversations, about talking about things that they are not comfortable with, or discussing or interacting with people that they do not know, once they have access to their child's profiles, they can block these contacts. Okay, that is one step. Another step is that, yes, you can report through the reporting feature of the social media platform. And also, you can also make the report to the Cybersecurity Authority. Okay, so these are the various steps that you can take. But the most important thing here is that we need to monitor the online activities of children, because they are engaging in quite a lot of things online.
Thanks for your answer, Mr. Mensah. I trust that our parents here with us have gotten a good information Okay, and so Mr. Mensah, when it comes to Ghana and our laws safeguarding persons who are victims of online impersonation, can you please touch on that? So when someone is a culprit of online impersonation, what does the law say? How many years or months or weeks is the person punished? Are there prison terms, or they are just maybe casual punishments?
So when you talk about online impersonation in itself, okay, so in my definition, I said it is someone using the internet or using an internet enabled device to assume the identity of someone, okay? So when you look at online impersonation in itself, it has the law does not have provisions with regards to that, okay? But once it enters the zone of identity theft, okay, where that profile is used in committing fraudulent purposes, okay, are used for fraudulent purposes, are used for defrauding people, then it becomes a criminal offense, okay? So yes, the Electronic Transactions Act, for instance, has various provisions, okay, that goes against these kind of, the various kind of crimes that these impersonator profiles are used for. So engaging in fraudulent purposes, it has the engaging in false pretenses. I mean, there's a section there. I would have to check it, recheck it, and get you the specific section in which it is. But yes, in terms of identity theft and using an impersonated profile for fraudulent purposes, yes, the law frowns on that. However, online impersonation in itself, using the identity of someone, because there was this account that was impersonating the ECG. I guess most of us saw it on Facebook. What the account was doing was that it wasn't engaged in any fraudulent purpose. It was only posting jokes with regards to electricity. Okay, so it wasn't used for criminal purpose, although it had assumed the identity of the ECG company. It was using it for jokes relating to our power system, the doomsaw and stuff. So they were posting jokes and all that regarding the doomsaw and all that. That was what was happening. It wasn't engaged. So online impersonation in itself is not really criminalized. It is when you go a step further to use that particular account for criminal purposes, that is when it becomes a crime.
Thank you very much for the clarification. And so we have some few minutes to end the discussion, but can you go over again with the right procedures of reporting if you ever encounter any form of online impersonation?
Yes, so like I mentioned, when you become a victim of online impersonation, the first point of call has to do with the platform on which you are being impersonated. What you do is that you make a report, or you report that particular profile through the reporting feature of that platform, okay? The next thing is that you need to notify your online people or your contacts online that this is what is happening. So should you receive anything from me from this particular account, know that it is not me. So you issue some form of disclaimer. Sometimes you even have to do something like a billboard and post it on your status that this account is impersonating me, so do not interact with them. Once these things have gone through, the next thing that you can do is also reach out to the cybersecurity authority, okay, and then make a report. And then we also engage the various social media platforms to sort some of these things out. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mensah. And so can you give us your final words before we end the discussion?
In terms of my final words, we should not trust anything we see on the internet, especially on social media. These days, fake news and misinformation, disinformation are flying all over the internet. It's something that we should be cautious of. And with respect to this topic, online impersonation, my last words are, we should be mindful of the things that we share online regarding our personal selves, okay? Very mindful of the things that we share online, because one thing is the internet never forgets. So one thing you share today can be used against you tomorrow, especially personal identifiable information should be things that we do not share on the internet. Once you become a victim of this, the point of contact is something that I'll highlight on. Just call 292 and then you reach the Cybersecurity Authority. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mensah, for an insightful presentation. And thank you for answering all the questions. And thank you to our viewers who joined us for today's discussion. But before we finally end the program, I want you to know about an online resource that you would find helpful. And this is the eLibrary USA. The eLibrary USA is a state-of-the-art digital library with 9 premier electronic databases that includes digital newspapers, magazines, journals, videos, and dissertations. Usually, this resource is only available to use in person at our American spaces. But with the global pandemic, we are opening up access to this amazing resource. So if you are interested, kindly sign up using the link that will be shared in the comments box, and then you can enjoy all its resources. And so this program was brought to you by the U.S. Embassy Ghana, American Ghana at Boba in partnership with Mobile Web Ghana. And this concludes our program. Please follow us on YouTube as U.S. Embassy Ghana for more amazing virtual programs. Thank you all once again for joining. We'll come your way same time next 2 weeks, and do enjoy a wonderful time. Thank you.